Lauren had been single for a while and decided it was time to get back into dating. Her friends convinced her to try Tinder, and after a few swipes, she matched with a man named Ryan. He was handsome, charming, and seemed genuinely interested in getting to know her. They messaged back and forth for a few days before Ryan suggested meeting up for drinks. The bar they chose was cozy and well-lit, a place Lauren felt comfortable. Ryan was already there when she arrived, sitting at a table in the corner. He stood up, smiling warmly as she approached. "Lauren, right? It's great to finally meet you in person," he said, pulling out a chair for her. They hit it off immediately. Ryan was funny, attentive, and seemed genuinely interested in what Lauren had to say. They talked for hours, sharing stories and laughing like old friends. Lauren felt a connection she hadn't felt in years. As the night wore on, Ryan suggested they go somewhere quieter where they could continue talking. He mentioned a little cafe around the corner that stayed open late. Lauren hesitated for a moment, but agreed. She was having a great time and didn't want the night to end. The cafe was indeed quiet, with just a few patrons scattered around. They found a table in the back and ordered coffee. Ryan excused himself to use the restroom, and Lauren took the opportunity to text a friend, Emily, letting her know she was still out and having a great time. When Ryan returned, he seemed different. His warm demeanor had turned cold, and there was a strange intensity in his eyes. He sat down across from her, staring at her without saying a word. "Is everything okay?" Lauren asked, feeling a knot of unease form in her stomach. Ryan smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I need to show you something," he said, his voice low. Before Lauren could react, he pulled out his phone and showed her a series of photos. They were of her, leaving her apartment, walking to her car, sitting at her desk at work. Each one was taken from a distance, as if someone had been following her. Lauren's blood ran cold. "What is this? How did you get these?" she demanded, her voice shaking. Ryan leaned in closer. "I've been watching you for a long time, Lauren. Ever since you matched with me on Tinder, I've been following you, learning everything I can about you." Panic set in as Lauren realized she was trapped in a quiet cafe with a man who had been stalking her. She glanced around, but the other patrons were engrossed in their own conversations, oblivious to her distress. "I have to go," she said, standing up abruptly. But Ryan grabbed her wrist, his grip like a vice. "You're not going anywhere," he said softly. "Not until I say so." Lauren's heart pounded in her chest. She needed to get away, to get help. Summoning every ounce of courage, she yanked her arm free and bolted for the door. She could hear Ryan's footsteps behind her, but she didn't look back. She burst out of the cafe and into the street, frantically searching for help. A passing car slowed down, and the driver rolled down the window. "Are you okay?" the driver asked, concern in his voice. "Please, help me," Lauren cried. "He's following me." The driver unlocked the door, and Lauren jumped in just as Ryan emerged from the cafe, his face twisted with rage. The driver sped off, and Lauren watched as Ryan disappeared into the distance. The driver took Lauren to the nearest police station, where she filed a report. The police took her seriously and launched an investigation. They discovered that Ryan's real name was not even Ryan, and he had a history of stalking and harassing women he met online. For weeks, Lauren lived in fear, constantly looking over her shoulder, but Ryan never showed up again. The police assured her they were doing everything they could to find him, but he had vanished without a trace. Lauren deleted her Tinder account and became much more cautious about her online interactions. The experience left her shaken, a reminder of how dangerous the seemingly harmless act of swiping right could become. She never forgot Ryan's cold, intense eyes and the terror she felt that night, always haunted by the fear that one day he might return. Sarah had always been cautious about online dating, but after some encouragement from her friends, she decided to give Tinder a try. She swiped through countless profiles before matching with Alex, a man who seemed charming and genuine. They chatted for a week, sharing interests and stories, before he suggested meeting up for a date. They agreed to meet at a popular cafe in the heart of the city. It was a well-known spot, always bustling with people, and Sarah felt safe meeting there. She arrived early, taking a seat near the window where she could watch for Alex. When he walked in, he was even more attractive in person. Tall, with dark hair and a friendly smile, he made a great first impression. "Sarah?" he asked, approaching her table.
Alex.
"Nice to meet you," she replied, standing to shake his hand. They ordered coffee and talked for a while. Alex was easy to talk to, and Sarah felt herself relaxing. As the evening wore on, Alex suggested they take a walk through the nearby park. It was a beautiful summer evening, and the park was just a block away, so Sarah agreed. The park was less crowded than usual, the sun setting and casting long shadows. They strolled along the paths, chatting and laughing. Alex seemed attentive and considerate, making sure Sarah felt comfortable. When they reached a secluded area of the park, Alex stopped. "There's something I want to show you," he said, pointing towards a small, hidden trail. "It's a bit of a secret spot. I think you'll like it." Sarah hesitated, feeling a slight twinge of unease. But Alex's smile was reassuring, and she didn't want to seem paranoid. She followed him down the trail, which led to a clearing with a small, picturesque pond. "It's beautiful," she said, relaxing a bit. They sat on a bench near the water, continuing their conversation. As darkness fell, Sarah checked the time and realized it was getting late. "I should probably head home," she said, standing up. "It's getting pretty dark." Alex's smile faded slightly. "Already? I was hoping we could spend a little more time together." "Maybe another time," Sarah said, trying to keep her tone light. But as she turned to leave, Alex grabbed her arm. "You're not going anywhere," he said, his voice low and menacing. Sarah's heart raced. "Alex, let go of me." His grip tightened. "I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, Sarah. You have no idea." Panic surged through her. She yanked her arm free and started running back towards the main path. Alex was right behind her, his footsteps pounding on the ground. She could see the lights of the park entrance ahead and pushed herself to run faster. Just as she reached the entrance, she stumbled into a jogger who was passing by. "Help me, please," she gasped. The jogger, a middle-aged man, took one look at Sarah's terrified face and stepped between her and Alex. "What's going on here?" he demanded. Alex stopped, his face twisted with anger. "She's overreacting. We were just having a conversation." "She doesn't look like she's overreacting," the jogger said firmly. "I think you should leave." Alex glared at them both, but finally turned and walked away. Sarah watched him go, her entire body shaking. The jogger stayed with her until she calmed down, then walked her to her car. "Thank you," she said, her voice still trembling. "I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't been there. Just be careful. Next time make sure to always meet in public places," he advised her. Sarah nodded, grateful for his help. She drove home, her mind racing. She blocked Alex on Tinder and reported his profile to the app's administrators. Over the next few days, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. A week later, she received a message from an unknown number. It was a picture of her taken from outside her apartment building, followed by a message, "You can't hide from me, Sarah." Terrified, she called the police and showed them the message. They took it seriously and began an investigation, but Alex had disappeared, leaving no trace. Sarah moved to a new apartment with a security system and stopped using dating apps altogether. The experience left her shaken, a constant reminder of the dangers lurking behind seemingly innocent profiles. She never forgot Alex's twisted smile and the fear she felt that night in the park, always haunted by the thought that he might one day return.